fact, it's another banker for me. It's Arsenal versus Brighton. Arsenal minus 180. Yeah, you could just say, well, stick that in a parlay with Wolves at minus 150 and minus 180. But Arsenal minus 1 at plus 105. The goal line is set at 2.5. If you think there's 3 goals, it's plus 100. Brighton, for me, are finished. Draw is at plus 325. Mark O'Hare again. Brighton. No, I can't even remember the last time that they scored 1, never mind 2. And Arsenal have got everyone on their tail for that top 4. And I know they had a blip midweek, but they played against a side that have been strong against nearly every single side, especially at home.
Yeah, they were atrocious on Monday, but and well beaten. But I don't think you can abandon them just based on that one performance. Over the long term, they have been very competitive, and you're right, the top 4 battle is really intense. And Arsenal still have to go to Spurs, and their game in hand is against Chelsea as well. So they absolutely need to start picking up points or continue picking up points in the matches where they're expected to pick up those points. And I appreciate I'm probably repeating myself from previous shows, really, but Arsenal traditionally in this spot are very, very strong when they're at home, particularly at the Emirates against bottom half opposition. But this season alone, they've won 17 of 24 when you exclude the top 3. That's 10 wins from 12 at Emirates Stadium against teams outside the top 3. 13 wins from 17 when facing teams in 10th and below. Very consistent, but odds-wise as well. I went back to 2017 to today when Arsenal have gone off as minus money at home. In the Premier League, their record is 44 wins, 9 draws and 4 defeats, which is a 77% win record. Very, very strong, very, very consistent. The only thing that's kind of nagging me with Arsenal this weekend is Tierney's long-term injury. It requires a reshuffling in defence, and Thomas Partey as well, who will be a big miss. I think he's been exceptional over the past few months, and what's the beauty about Arsenal so far this season is they've been pretty injury-free since early autumn, and they've been quite consistent in their team selection. And yeah, it just requires a bit of juggling around, and I'm not totally convinced they've got the squad to sort of cope with key injuries, particularly Partey. But we'll see. You're right, Brighton have won just 3 Premier League games now in 25. That goes back to mid-September. Those wins were against Brentford, Everton and Watford. They've only actually kept 6 clean sheets in that sequence. And Brighton are sort of known as being quite a rigid and defensively strong team, which is quite a poor return. And they've only won once against teams above them in the table. So we know they're capable of keeping games competitive. They're draw specialists, but they're averaging just 0.87 goals per game. And you said when was the last time they scored? They had 30 shots against Norwich last week, failed to score, ballooned a penalty over the bar. And they've scored once in 7, and that was a set-piece goal as well. So, yeah, I mean, I think Brighton can be the kind of team that can sort of slow Arsenal down a little bit. So I was pretty much on board with you, Flash, with Arsenal -1.
Free hit, surely.
It did, but I'm gonna adapt it. I'm gonna take a much shorter price, which is Arsenal to win and under 4.5 goals at -140. Just because I can see Arsenal winning this match 1-0. I think Brighton, I don't think they're necessarily, as a stereotype says, on the beach. I still think they'll be able to provide some sort of resistance. And it really wouldn't be too surprising if Arsenal won this by just a goal and I still get paid out if it's a low-scoring game. I think only 2 of Brighton's matches all season have featured 5 or more goals, and only 5 of Arsenal's have as well. So I'm just playing it a little bit safer there instead.
Okay, I thought Arsenal scored twice, so that was my first port of call at -125. Then I saw I'm getting a free hit, Stinch. Basically, I'm getting a -180 free hit at +105. Give me Arsenal. I see this being maybe 2-0, 3-0, and I think they run riot.
I'm not convinced personally, but that's only because what I see with Arsenal is not that impressed, to be honest. I know they sit joint 4th, but I think you look at the facts. I'm not basing it just on what happened on Monday night against Crystal Palace, but a few times I've watched them this season, the reverse fixture against Crystal Palace, very lucky to get themselves out of jail with a last-minute equaliser. I just don't think they're that good, to be honest. You got Lacazette there. I think he scored 4 goals all season, which is a very poor return. They obviously lost.
But Saka, they got Smith Rowe, they got Odegaard, they got good fullbacks, they got Partey. I know he's missing. They are on the up. They're in the top 4.
Well,
and you're saying they're not very good.
No, I don't think they're very good. The Premier League, the top 3 are by far and away the best teams.
Well, one of them shot.
If Conte had been there since the beginning of the season, I think Tottenham would be far more clear of Arsenal already. If West Ham didn't have European involvement, arguably they might be above Arsenal as well. I think the likes of Saka and Smith Rowe, I'm not sure they have a bigger ceiling to grow into. Odegaard, maybe. I'm not convinced. Thomas Partey costs like 40 million. I know Mark said he thought he's been playing well this season. Hasn't stood out massively for me. Kieran Tierney, I think, is a miss. I'm not convinced by the Tavares as a replacement. So yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm not a fan of Arsenal. I think the bet that stood out for me here though, because Brighton's struggles in front of goal really, and Arsenal's the same. I think Arsenal have only scored like 44 in 30 games or something. It's not only just over one a game. You can get under 2.5 goals at -125. 17 of Brighton's last 20 matches have gone under 2.5, and Brighton have failed to score in 6 of the last 7. And you look at the last few meetings between the sides, I think they've been 0-0, 1-0 and 2-0 to Arsenal. So I think these two teams do give each other like quite a good game in terms of not letting too much go in their own penalty areas. So yeah, if you're looking for an alternative angle, maybe play the under 2.5 here.
Yeah, I'm not looking for no alternative angle. This is my banker of the week. I mean, listen, I've got maybe 4 bankers across all the European shows. I've just added another one because I'm just feeling a bit positive and greedy. Let's have a look at the official picks. I see Arsenal being far too sharp, and we look at it and they've got to win, and they've got to win well because of obviously what's going on at the top of the table. And if they want Champions League next year, it's theirs to lose. Arsenal -1 at +105, but that's not -1 now for Mark O'Hare because he's missing Tierney and he's missing Partey. So he's gone with Arsenal to win and under 4.5 at -140, you say, Mark?